Hello everyone, I am Professor Sushant Mohite, working as a head of electrical department from Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. In previous videos, we learned the energy conservation in induction motor. Now we start in unit number 2, the second part is energy conservation in transformer. But in this video, first we learn the what is transformer, what is the working principle of transformer, what is the construction of transformer, and the what type of losses occurs in transformer. The first one, transformer. Transformers are electrical devices consisting of two or more coils of wire used to transfer electrical energy by means of a changing magnetic field. One of the main reasons that we use alternating AC voltages and currents in our homes and workplace is that AC supplies can be easily generated at a convenient voltage, transform, hence the name transformer, into much higher voltages and then distributed around the country using a national grid of pylons and cables over very long distances. The transformer, the another definition of transformer is a static device. Static means stationary device which transfer electrical energy, electrical power from one circuit to another circuit without changing the frequency but changes the amplitude of voltage and current. That is step up and step down. The reason for transforming the voltage to much higher level is that higher distribution voltages implies lower current for the same power and therefore lower I square R losses, that is copper losses, along the network grid of cables. These higher AC transmission voltages and current can be reduced to a much lower, safer and usual voltage level where it can be used to supply electrical equipment in our homes and workplaces. And all this is possible thanks to the transformer. The transformer can be thought of an electrical component rather than an electronic component. A transformer basically is very simple static or stationary electromagnetic passive electrical device that works on the principle of Faraday's law of induction by converting electrical energy from one value to another. The transformer does this by linking together two or more electrical circuits using a common oscillating magnetic circuit which is produced by the transformer itself. A transformer operates on the principle of electromagnetic induction in the form of mutual induction. Mutual induction is the process by which a coil of wire magnetically induces a voltage into another coil located in the coil proximity to it. Then we can say that transformers work in the magnetic domain and transformers get their name from the fact that they transform one voltage or current level into another. Transformers are capable of either increasing or decreasing the voltage and current levels of their supply without modifying its frequency or the amount of electrical power being transferred from one winding to another via the magnetic circuit. A single phase voltage transformer basically consists of two electrical coils of wire, one called the primary winding and another called the secondary winding. For this, we will define the primary side of the transformer as the side that usually takes the power and the secondary as side that usually delivers power. In a single phase transformer, the primary is usually the side with the higher voltage. These two coils are not in electrical contact with each other but are instead wrapped together around a common closed magnetic iron circuit is called as a core. This soft iron core is not solid but made up of individual lamination sorry connected together to help reduce the core losses. The two coils windings are electrically isolated from each other but are magnetically linked through the common core, allowing electrical power to be transferred from one coil to the other. When an electric current passes through the primary winding, a magnetic field is developed which produces or which induces a voltage into the secondary winding. The next is a single phase transformer. In other words, for a transformer, there is no direct electrical connection between the two coil winding, thereby giving it the name also of an isolation transformer. Generally, the primary winding of a transformer is connected to the input voltage supply and converts or transforms the electrical power into a magnetic field, while the job of the secondary winding is to convert this alternating magnetic field into electrical power, producing the required output voltage. The next is a transformer construction, that is a single phase. The two coils windings are connected, means the one winding is connected in one limb and the second winding is connected in second limb of the core type transformer. The two windings are not electrically connected but are only linked magnetically. A single phase transformer can operate to either increase or decrease the voltage applied to the primary winding. When a transformer is used to increase the voltage on its secondary winding with respect to the primary is called as a step-up transformer. When it is used to decrease the voltage on the secondary winding with respect to the primary is called a step-down transformer. However, a third condition exists in which a transformer produces the same voltage on its secondary as is applied to its primary winding. In other words, its output is identical with respect to voltage, current and power transfer. This type of transformer is called an impedance transformer and is mainly used for impedance matching or the isolation of adjoint electrical circuits. The difference in voltage between the primary and the secondary winding is achieved by changing the number of coil turns in their primary winding compared to the number of coils turns on the secondary winding. As the transformer is basically a linear device, a ratio now exists between the number of turns of the primary coil divided by the number of turns of the secondary coil. This ratio, called the ratio of transformation, more commonly known as the transformer turns ratio. This turns ratio value dictates the operation of the transformer and the corresponding voltage available on the secondary winding. It is necessary to know the ratio of the number of turns of wire on the primary winding compared to the secondary winding. The turns ratio, which has no units, compares the two windings in other and is written in return such as 3:1. It's an example, it's written such as a 3:1. This means in this example, if there are 3 volts on the primary winding, there will be 1 volts on the secondary winding. Then we can see that if the ratio between the number of turns changes, the resulting voltages must also change by the same ratio, and this is true. Transformers are all about ratios. The ratio of the primary to the secondary, the ratio of the input to the output, and the turns ratio of any given transformer will be the same as its voltage ratio. In other words of the transformer, turns ratio is equal to the voltage ratio. The actual number of turns of wire on any winding is generally not important, just the turns ratio and this relationship is important. Then what is turns ratio? The turns ratio is equal to the number of turns in primary winding divided by number of turns in secondary winding. Then next is the what is voltage ratio? The voltage ratio is equal to the voltage across the primary winding divided by the voltage across the secondary winding. Means the turns ratio is equal to the number of turns in primary winding divided by the number of turns in secondary winding is equal to the number of voltage across the primary winding divided by the voltage across the secondary winding. Assume an ideal transformer and the phase angle of primary side is equal to the phase angle of secondary side. Note that the order of the numbers when expressing a transformer's turns ratio value is very important, as the turns ratio, suppose 3:1, express a very different transformer relationship and output voltage than one in which turns ratio is given as 1:3. Then the main purpose of a transformer is to transform voltage at present ratios, and we can see that the primary winding has a set amount of number of winding coil of wire on it to suit the input voltage. If the secondary output voltage is to be the same value as the input voltage on the primary winding, then the same number of coil turns must be wound on to the secondary core as there are on the primary core, giving an even turns ratio of 1:1. In other words, one coil turn on the secondary to one coil turns on the primary. If the output secondary voltage is to be greater or higher than the input voltage, then there must be more turns on the secondary, giving a turns ratio of 1:n, where n represent to turns ratio number. Likewise, if it is required that the secondary voltage is to be lower or less than primary, that is step down transformer, then the number of secondary winding must be less, giving a turns ratio of n:1, means n to 1. The next is the transformer action. We have seen that the number of coil turns on the secondary winding compared to the primary winding, the turns ratio affects the amount of voltage available from the secondary coil. But if the two windings are electrically isolated from each other, how is this secondary voltage produced? We have said previously that a transformer basically consists of two coils wound around a common soft iron core. When an alternating voltage is applied to the primary coil, current flows through the coil, which in turn set up a magnetic field around itself. It's called as a mutual induction. By this, current flows according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The strength of the magnetic field builds up as the current flow rises from 0 to its maximum value, which is given as rate of change of flux with respect to time. As the magnetic lines of force set up by this electromagnet expand outwards from the coil, the soft iron core forms a path for and concentrates the magnetic flux. This magnetic flux links the turns of both windings as it increases and decreases in opposite direction under the influence of the AC supply. However, the strength of the magnetic field induced into the soft iron core depends upon the amount of current and the number of turns in the winding. When current is reduced, the magnetic field strength reduces. When the magnetic lines of flux flow around the core, they pass through the turns of the secondary winding, causing a voltage to be induced into the secondary coil. The amount of voltage induced will be determined by n into means number of turns into rate of change of flux with respect to time. That is the Faraday's law, where n is the number of turns. Also, this induced voltage has the same frequency as the primary winding voltage. Then we can see that the same voltage is induced in each coil turn of both windings because the same magnetic flux links the turns of both the windings together. As a result, the total induced voltage in each winding is directly proportional to the number of turns in the winding. However, the peak amplitude of the output voltage available on the secondary winding will be reduced if the magnetic losses of the core are high. If we want the primary coil to produce a stronger magnetic field to overcome the core magnetic losses, we can either send a large current through the coil or to keep the same current flowing and instead increase the number of coil turns of the winding. The product of ampere time turns is called the ampere turns, which determines the magnetization force of the coil. So assuming we have a transformer with a single turns in the primary and only one turn in the secondary. If 1 volt is applied to the one turn of the primary coil, assuming no losses, enough current must flow and enough magnetic flux generated to induce 1 volt in the single turn of the secondary. That is, each winding supports the same number of volts per turn. As the magnetic flux varies sinusoidally, then the basic relationship between induced EMF in a coil of n turns is means the EMF equation of the transformer is 4.44 into supply frequency into number of flux into maximum flux. Also, it's note that as transformer requires an alternating magnetic flux to operate correctly, transformer cannot therefore be used to transfer or supply DC voltages or current, since the magnetic flux field must be changing to induce a voltage into the secondary winding. In other words, transformer do not operate on steady state DC voltages, only alternating or pulsating voltages. If a transformer winding was connected to a DC supply, the inductive reactance of the winding will be 0 as DC has no frequency. So, the effective impedance of the winding will therefore be a very low and equal only to the resistance of the copper used. Thus, the winding will draw a very high current from the DC supply, causing it to overheat and eventually burn out, because we know I is equal to V upon R. Then another one of the transformer basic parameter is its power rating. The power rating of a transformer is obtained by simply multiplying the current by the voltage to obtain rating in volt ampere. Small single phase transformer may be rated in volt amperes, but much large power transformer are rated in units of kilovolt ampere, where 1 kilovolt ampere is equal to 1000 volt ampere, and unit of megavolt ampere, where 1 megavolt ampere is equal to 1 million volt amperes. In an ideal transformer, ignoring any losses, the power available in the secondary winding will be the same as the power in the primary winding. They are constant wattage devices and do not change the power, only the voltage to current ratio. Thus, in an ideal transformer, the power ratio is equal to 1 as the voltage. Means V multiplied by the current, I will remain constant. That is, the electric power at 1 voltage or current level on the primary is transferred into electric power at the same frequency to the same voltage or current level on the secondary side. Although the transformer can step up or step down voltage, it cannot step up power. Thus, when a transformer step up a voltage, it step down the current and vice versa, so that the power is always at the same value as the input power. Then we can say that the primary power equals secondary power, that is primary power is equal to secondary power. Then efficiency of transformer. A transformer does not require any moving part to transfer energy. This means that there are no friction and windage losses associated with other electrical machines. However, transformer do suffer from other type of losses called as a copper loss and iron loss, but generally these are quite small. The copper loss is also known as the I square R loss in the electrical power, which is loss in heat as a result of resulting the current around the transformer copper winding. Hence, the name is copper loss. Copper losses represent the greatest loss in the operation of a transformer. The actual watts of power lost can be determined in each winding by squaring the amperes and multiplying by the resistance in ohms of the winding, that is I square into R. Iron loss, also known as hysteresis, is the lagging of the magnetic molecules within the core in response to the alternating magnetic flux. This lagging or out of phase condition is due to the fact that it requires power to reverse magnetic molecules. They do not reverse until the flux has attained sufficient force to reverse them. This reversal results in friction, and friction produces heat in the core, which is a form of power loss. Hysteresis within the transformer can be reduced by making the core from special steel alloys. The intensity of power loss in a transformer determines its efficiency. The efficiency of a transformer is reflected in power loss between the primary and the secondary winding. Then the resulting efficiency of a transformer is equal to the ratio of power output of the secondary winding to the power input of the primary winding, and is therefore high. An ideal transformer is 100% efficient because it delivers all the energy it receives. Real transformer, on the other hand, are not 100% efficient and at a full load. The efficiency of a transformer is between 94 to 96%, which is quite good. For transformer operating with a constant voltage and frequency with a very high capacity, the efficiency may be as high as 98%. Then, to the important part of the transformer, which is related to our subject energy conservation, is the losses. In transformer, one more time, in transformer there are two important losses: iron losses and copper losses. Iron losses, in iron losses there are two parts: hysteresis losses and eddy current losses. The first, hysteresis losses. Hysteresis loss is due to magnetization and demagnetization of core, which is produced by alternating flux. During this process, same amount of power is lost, which is hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss for silicon steel, hysteresis constant is very less, so it is used for core construction to minimize the loss. Eddy current losses are because of circulating the current or eddy current in the metal block. Eddy current are set up by induced EMF. To reduce these losses, laminated construction is done to the core thickness of lamination is 0.3 to 0.6 mm. For core losses, for reducing the core losses or iron losses, use the silicon steel stamping. Because of this silicon steel stamping, the core losses is very low, so we cannot take these losses when we calculate the efficiency. Then next is the copper loss, that is the I square R loss. These are due to power wasted in the form of I square into R loss due to resistance of the primary and secondary winding. It can be minimized by the reducing the resistance of the winding, that is by increasing the cross sectional area of winding. Copper losses is directly depends on the load which is connected to the secondary winding of the transformer, because the copper losses is equal to I square into R loss. I means it's a current. Suppose we increase the load on the secondary side, so definitely the current flowing in the winding is also increases, so the copper losses is also increases. Therefore, when we calculate the efficiency of transformer, it's around 94 to 96%, means the 6% or the 4% the wastage is because of the copper loss.